Hello students, in today's lecture we will be exploring the crucial concept in personal finance called as time value of money. Let's get started. Imagine you have 1,000 rupees that you don't need right now. What would you do with that money? You might choose to put it in the bank, or if it's a small amount that doesn't warrant a bank visit, you could simply keep it in the safe. You may even forget about the money altogether. After a year passes and you open the safe for some other reason, you discover the money that you kept, 1,000 rupees. The money is still there. Naturally, this would make you happy, realizing that you still have that 1,000 rupees you saved a year ago. However, here is the question: even though the denomination remains 1,000 rupees, what about its value? Undoubtedly the value is not same that all of you can make out. Why? Because the things you could have purchased with 1,000 rupees a year ago cannot be bought for the same amount now. This demonstrates that the value of money decreases over time due to inflation. Inflation is responsible for reducing the value of money as time passes. On this slide, you will find a graph depicting consumer price index from 2014 to 2023. The consumer price index is an economic concept that measures the average change in prices paid by urban consumer over time for a basket of consumer goods and services. In simpler terms, it reflects how the prices of household goods change over time. The base year for the consumer price index on this graph is 2013. Thus, goods that used to cost 100 rupees in 2013 would now cost 180 rupees in 2023. That's the effect of inflation. Let's see one more example. This slide presents graph illustrating the change in value of 50,000 rupees over 15-year period. Suppose you have 50,000 rupees with you and you decide to keep it in the cupboard. Let's observe how its value changes over time due to inflation. Assuming typical inflation rate of 6% in the Indian market. After 1 year, the value of 50,000 rupees decreases to 47,000 rupees because of 6% inflation. After 5 years, it decreases further to approximately 37,000 rupees. After 10 years, it reaches 27,000 rupees. Finally, at the end of 15 years, the value is approximately 20,000 rupees, significantly less than the initial amount. As we can see, due to inflation, the value of 50,000 rupees become less than half of the original value after 15 years. Ultimately, the 50,000 rupees that you kept in the safe dwindles to 20,000 rupees in 2015. While the amount remains same, the value decreases over time. This showcases the time value of money, that's the change in value over time. All of us know money serves as medium for exchange. In today's world, when you want to make purchase, you need money. Now the question is, would you prefer to receive 1,000 rupees now or 1,000 rupees after 1 year? Of course, the answer is we would all prefer to have the money now. This illustrates that there is an inherent monetary value attached to time. Furthermore, the value of 1,000 rupees today is greater than the value of 1,000 rupees in future. The concept of money available today is worth more than the same amount of money in future is the time value of money. We can say that the current value of money is higher because you can invest that money in various investment instruments and earn interest. For instance, you can earn almost 20% return by investing it in the stock market, 15% return in mutual fund, or 7% return in bank deposits. By choosing different investment instrument, you can earn returns and ultimately grow value of your money. Now, longer you keep money invested, higher the potential returns. This demonstrates that the value of money depends on time it remains invested and the rate of return. So, the growth of money depends on the interest rate and the investment tenure. By knowing the tenure and return rate, you can calculate how much money you earn. Two important concepts in finance are present value and future value. The present value represents the value of money at current time, while the future value is the value at specified date in future. The concepts are very simple to understand. Present value is the current value, future value is the value of money in future time, maybe after 1 year, maybe after 2 years. Regarding future value, it represents the value an asset will have at a specified date in the future. Future value measures the future sum of money that the present sum of money is worth at a specified time in future. Here we are assuming certain interest rate. When calculating future value, the impact of inflation is not taken into account. As we have seen, inflation reduces the value of money over time. Therefore, if returns are at 8%, the inflation is 6%, the actual returns would be only 2%. While the money grows at a rate of 8%, the value decreases or value decreases at a rate of 6%, resulting in net effect of 2%. Here is the formula for future value of money. The formula is something like this. Future value is equal to present value into bracket 1 plus I by n raised to n into t. Here I is the interest rate, n is the number of compounding periods per year, and t is the number of years. Now we will see what do you mean by compounding periods. You might have heard about yearly compounding, monthly compounding, etc., etc. So we will discuss that. What exactly you mean by compounding periods? Compounding period refer to the time intervals during which interest is added to an account. Interest can be added annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, or even daily. Consider an example of investing 100 rupees with 12% annual rate of return. The monthly rate of interest is calculated by dividing 12% by 12 months, resulting in 1% interest added each month. This is known as monthly compounding. If 6% interest is added every 6 months, this is referred as semi-annual compounding. When 3% is added after 3 months, it is called as quarterly compounding. Lastly, if 12% is added once a year, it represents annual compounding. Does the compounding rate truly make difference? Indeed, it does. The compounding rate significantly affects the final sum. Higher the compounding rate, higher the future value. Let's see an example. Let's consider an example to understand future value with different compounding rates. Suppose Miss X want to invest 5 lakhs rupees at a rate of 10%. The future value of her investment will be 8 lakh 5,225 rupees. If she continues to invest for another 5 years, making total investment tenure of 10 years, the value of her investment will be approximately 1.3 million rupees. 10 lakh 30,000 rupees. Now, if we change the compounding period, the future value of 50,000 will differ. Through the annual compounding, the future value will be 8 lakh 5,225. If the compounding is done monthly, the future value will be rupees 8 lakh 22,654. If it is done quarterly, the value will be 8 lakh 19,000. Remarkably, the daily compounding, you can earn an additional 17,000 compared to annual compounding for same investment amount. So higher is the compounding period, better are the return. So while investing, you please check the compounding, whether it's annual or quarterly compounding. Now this slide represents the formula of future value in Excel, which allows us for easy calculation. The formula is FV is equal to FV. Of course, this is the Excel syntax. Into bracket rate NPER PMT into bracket PV comma type. Now let's see the meaning of this one by one. Rate is this is the interest rate of each period. NPER is the total number of payment periods. PMT specifies the payment per period. If we omit this argument, we need to provide the PV argument. PV is this specifies the present value of investment or loan. The PV argument is omitted, defaults to 0. If we omit this argument, we need to provide the PMT argument. Okay. Now, the last is topic type, sorry. So, this defines whether the payment are made at start or at the end of year. This argument can be either 0 if the payment is made at the end of the period or 1 if the payment is made at the start of period. Now let's see how to use this formula through next slide. If there is a monthly compounding, divide the annual interest by 12. For quarterly compounding, divide it by 4 and so on. To determine the total number of period, multiply the year by number of periods per year. Here is the actual example from Excel. Here is an example of investing 5,000 rupees at an interest rate of 7%. The table shows the formula used for different compounding periods. For weekly compounding, divide the interest rate, that is 7% by 52. The 52 is number of weeks in a year because we are considering weekly compounding. This will yield the weekly interest rate. Next to that, as the interest is added per week, we have to take number of periods as 52. Since the interest is added 52 times in a year. So from this, you can try for daily compounding. For that, you have to just divide the interest by 365 and number of periods will be 365 because interest is added daily. Here, you can see that the rate is mentioned here 0.07 divided by 52. Then number of period. Now PMT is the payment done per period. Okay, we are not adding any additional amount, so that's why it is 0. And this PV is the present value. This present value is 5,000. Now while supplying the present value, you have to put negative sign. That's the Excel syntax. The next is a type. If you omit this, by default it will assume 1, means you are making the payment at the start of the period. Now, if you are making a regular payment, put this PV at 0 and PMT at some value. If you are making 1,000 regular payment, just put it as 1,000. Instead of the 0, I will put 1,000 and this initial amount could be anything or it could be 0. Now, the next concept is discounting. This discounting is the reverse of compounding. Discounting involves translating the value back in time and it is used to determine the current value of a future sum. If you want to know the current value of future sum, you use discounting method. On the other hand, if you want to know the future value of current sum, you employ compounding. Discounting is particularly useful in calculating the present value. So if you want to have, let's say 1 lakh rupees after 2 years, how much money you should invest now, the discount will tell you about that. So future value is calculated from the present value and with the discounting, you can calculate the present value of a future sum. Now, what do you mean by present value or current value? Present value is the process of discounting the future value to obtain its value at zero time period, means current time period. It reveals the amount of money you must invest at a given interest rate to achieve the desired future value. We can determine how much we need to invest today to receive 10,000 in future at a given interest rate. The formula for future value is given over here. Sorry, present value is given over here. Present value is equal to future value upon 1 plus r raised to n, where future value is f is equal to future value, r is rate of return, and n is the number of periods. Let's consider an example shown on the slide. If you want to receive 5,000 rupees at a discount rate of 8.25, you need to invest 3,364 on the payment day. So again, this present value formula is used to calculate the current investment requirement for some future value of money that you need. The concept of time value of money plays crucial role in many important financial decisions. It may be bond valuation, stock valuation, project evaluation, and many more. In personal finance, understanding the time value of money helps investor make informed investment decisions based on expected returns from various investment instruments. In summary, the time value of money is a fundamental factor considered in making business decisions. There are many methods to judge the potential of a project, but time value of money is the fundamental factor that every businessman consider while investing the money. Now let's discuss how it is used in taking business decisions. So let's discuss an example of demonstrate the time value of money. Net present value is the present values of cash flow at a required rate of return for a project compared to initial investment. So to understand its application to the business decisions, we need to know the concept of net present value. The formula involves summing up the present values of all the future cash flows from the project over different time interval. If the project has, and comparing it with the initial cost, if the project has positive net present value, it is considered as profitable, while the project with negative cash flows is assumed to result in losses. So here you can see the present values of future cash flows is calculated in the bracket. So that's the summation of all values or all present values of future cash flows minus initial investment, that will yield the net present value. And if the net present value is positive, the business is profitable. If the net present value is negative, the business will yield losses. So let's consider an example of this. There is a machine purchase for 1000 rupees, and the cash flow generated by the machine are 600 rupees in first year, 400 rupees in second year, and 100 rupees in third year. The discount rate is 15%. Now, how this discount rate is calculated? The discount rate depends on opportunity cost. What is the opportunity cost? If you had invested the money in mutual fund instead of purchasing the machine, you would have received 15% return. Therefore, the business should earn higher return than mutual fund. Otherwise, nobody will open the business. They will invest in mutual fund or stock market and earn more return. So in this example, net present value comes out to be positive, indicating that the business investment is profitable. So net present value here is 257.8 rupees. So the business is profitable at least for 3 years. The concept of time value of money is also crucial in understanding the profitability of annuities. An annuity refers to a series of equal payments received or made at regular intervals. For example, if Mr. X receives 10,000 rupees every year for next 10 years from an initial investment of rupees 1 lakh, here rupees 10,000 payments made at regular interval represents an annuity. Understanding annuities is essential for making investment decisions related to pension, insurance policies, and more things. So, in one of our upcoming lectures, we will explore into these insurance details, and I will explain why it is not advisable to purchase money back policies and you should purchase only term plans. The concept of annuity will help us to understand the reasons behind this recommendation. To assess the profitability of annuity, we need to calculate its present value. The present value of an annuity is the current value of series of equal future payments received over specific number of period. On this slide, you will find an annuity timeline. The timeline demonstrates an example where you invest rupees 400 and receive rupees 100 annuity payment over 5 years. This sounds profitable because ultimately you may assume that you are receiving rupees 100 more, but let's explore its profitability. So for that, what you have to do, you have to calculate the present value of annuity. This can be achieved by discounting each cash flow back to the present value and then summing all the present values. In this case, the present value of annuity amounts to be rupees 380. So 100 rupees after every 1 year, and if you assume 10% discount rate, then the total value or total present value of the annuity comes out to be 379.08. So if you are receiving 100 rupees after 1 year, okay, with 10% interest, its current value is approximately 91 rupees. Because if you invest 91 rupees, you will earn 10% interest, that is 9 rupees, and your current value will be equal to 91 rupees. After 2 years, if you are receiving 100 rupees, so how much you need to invest for that? You need to invest only 82 rupees, because at a rate of 10% interest, you need to invest only 82 rupees for that, and so on. So the total present value is 379.08. Is the annuity profitable? In this case, as the present value of annuity is only 380 rupees, suggesting that the annuity is not profitable. Therefore, while assessing the profitability of an annuity, it is crucial to compare the present value with initial investment. If the present value is higher than the initial investment, it indicates a profitable annuity, while the lower present value suggests potential losses. Therefore, always calculate the present values of annuity before purchasing money back policies or similar products from insurance companies. So this concludes today's lecture. See you in next one. Thank you for your attention. This is my email address. You can reach out to me through this email address. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.